Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Impact Series hosted by 40. Today, really happy to be joined by Karolina Attspondina, who is the CEO and co-founder of We Do Solar. Karolina, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm super excited about this episode, and hopefully it'll be interesting for everyone to hear what we'll be talking about.
Yeah, I agree. I'm really excited too. Listen, there are probably quite a few people that have seen your face or heard your story recently. I know you were featured on CNN as well, CNN News, which is a nice gift for you. Like obviously, the kind of clue is in the name. We do solar, but for those people that don't know about the business, don't know about you, can you explain who We Do Solar are and what it is you're doing?
Yeah, sure. So I think when thinking about solar in general, we almost know it as a commodity or something very expensive that only, I would say, privileged people can have on the rooftops of their houses. However, I really wanted to make sure that a lot of other people living in the apartment buildings in the cities who are renters also have access to renewable energy. So this was one of the ways or one of the things, that I was thinking about when creating We Do Solar. And for me, number one, we have quite a huge climate crisis at the moment where we have to reduce CO2, and this is exactly what solar does. And on number two, we have energy crisis. Yeah, and for a lot of people that see the increase in the energy crisis, obviously it's a huge shock for them. They don't have the money. So obviously they can reduce their energy bills with solar or by introducing solar to their lives. We Do Solar has developed a solution or a special set, which is very lightweight and almost serves like a privacy screen for your balcony. So you can install it by yourself. It's also flexible. So if you have a slightly rounded balcony, you can also put it around a rounded balcony. Each solar panel is only 1 kilogram each, and it can basically work from a normal power socket. So this is what's so very easy about it, that you don't have to be tech savvy to actually introduce solar to your house, but it can be simply plugged in into a power socket, and then the energy that basically is generated by these solar panels will be distributed within your household to your household devices.
Yeah, that's interesting because and that happens automatically, right? So if you to plug the solar panels in, because that was a question I asked you, was when you plug you install the solar panels, super easy to install, no electrician required. You install the panels on your balcony, you plug it in. What happens then? Is there a battery? Is there some kind of other storage? But that's not the case. So again, for the people that aren't familiar, how does that process work when they plug it in? How do they then get the power from the panels?
Sure. So I guess this is something that not so many people know, that we can extract power from our grid, but we can also push power into our grid. And of course, all of our devices or all of our sets, they have special microinverter. You can call it like a small engine or magical engine that converts the solar power into grid power and then pushes it into the power socket, right? And through this power socket, and the way our apartments or houses are wired is that it first distributes within your house or within your apartment before going anywhere else. And the power kits that we supply is 600 watts worth of power. And for some, it might not say how much it is, but usually it would basically introduce about 25% savings on your electricity bills. And since it's not a full capacity that we're covering in terms of power generation, this capacity usually is always distributed within your household and doesn't go anywhere else. We haven't seen huge overproductions with our clients so far, simply because the capacity is not high enough to even overproduce, right? So it's
Yeah.
always used within your household. And I would say we need to also understand that, yes, people are asking, can I get a battery? Yes, we'll at some point come out with batteries, but we want to make sure that batteries are also sustainable product that we're coming out with and are also cheaper for our clients. And at the production of 600 watt, you don't actually need a battery. So
Yeah.
whoever is thinking that they need to get this set for the balcony and then get a battery, you will be just wasting money on the battery, because the battery will not be saving anything at all.
Yeah.
Your household appliances use most of it all the time.
Yeah. That's cool. I think that's really cool. What sort of percentage does that equate to? So in terms of, on someone's typical or average use, how much could they expect to kind of receive power from the solar panels that they're using from We Do Solar?
It's not really about like the product that we have, but solar in general, right? We, of course, need to take into account where are the solar panels installed. Are they installed on the south-facing balcony or maybe on a north-facing balcony? Which country are you in? How many solar hours do you have? So there's a lot of factors that would, in fact, be kind of showing what you can save potentially. Actually, on our website we have a calculator right now just for Germany, but we're working on other countries, which shows you exactly how much you would save depending on an average number of let's say electricity usage of a household, and then where your solar panels would be directing, so south, east, west, north, and so on. So this is possible to actually calculate.
Cool.
Usually it's about, let's say, 17 to 25% that you can be saving on your electricity bill. And depends, of course, on how much you're paying per kilowatt hour, right? So how much you're actually paying your electricity provider. And this will then depend on how much you're saving in euros.
Well, and like you said, there's a lot of benefits that come with this. So there's, I mean, look, we've got obviously cost savings, which in the current climate we're in with the energy crisis, I mean, obviously everybody's bills are, are sky high. So that's, that in itself is great, but also a direct correlation between, saving money, but you also saving carbon, from your carbon footprint as well as a direct, correlation too. And I've said this to other people, but when you can make it that kind of that easy of a decision, you're doing something good for the planet, by installing solar panels on your balcony, reducing your dependence on carbon. It's also going to save you some money. That's the kind of that magic crosshair that just makes it a super easy decision for someone to kind of think, well, look, that sounds like a great idea. I'm going to do that. Makes so much sense.
Yeah. Absolutely. And, when you think about it, solar panels or solar panel fields are usually outside of the city somewhere, in a huge field. Of course, there's also carbon in these environments, but there isn't so much carbon there. And actually, a lot of carbon is emitted within the cities where we're living, where we're transporting, where most of the things are happening. So why not actually do it locally where we are supposed to actually reduce our carbon activities? So I think for me, it was just making so much more sense to actually put it where it should be, but also, with the energy crisis that we are facing right now, of course, we're trying to switch to 100% renewables. However, we need to understand that our grid is simply not made for transportation of renewables in such a high volumes. And that's why local production can actually lower that risk and can give you the possibility to actually have renewables in your household, right? So this is why also it's quite tough for the governments to introduce renewables altogether to just everywhere, because our grid cannot handle it, unfortunately. Yeah.
Okay. Look, one thing I was going to ask you, so there are obviously alternatives out there. So there are, if you look on the internet, you look at kind of Googling for solar powered devices for your balcony, there are other what makes We Do Solar different to another product I could buy online?
Yeah, that's a cool question, and I think something that everybody asks. And I do want to say that yes, of course, there are products out there that you can put on your balcony. They're also, you can say, quite easy. However, these are resellers of normal solar panels that you would usually put on your rooftop. They are made for electricians to actually connect to the power grid or to the meter.
Yeah.
And if you think about solar panels for the roof, they're made out of glass, number one. Number two, they're extra heavy, yeah. And number three, if that thing falls on somebody's head, there will be no absolutely insurance that would cover this kind of loss. So in many ways, the municipalities do not allow these glass-based solar panels on the balconies unless it is ground floor. And as we know, on ground floor, you do extract some sunlight, but not as much as on higher floors.
Okay.
Yeah? So these solar panels are not allowed to be fixed on higher than 4 meters, number one. Number two, they're extra heavy. Yeah, so they have to be also permanently fixed to the balcony to make sure that they are there, basically fixed in place, which is not usually allowed as a permanent fixture, simply because of how our buildings look like and how they are then amended. Yeah, where our solution is extra lightweight, it's removable. It is not permanently fixed onto the balcony. You can always remove it and put it somewhere else, and so on. Then if you look at also reflection, so why the glass solar panels are not allowed to be on the facades of the building is because of the reflection that we usually get on the other side of the buildings. Yeah. And what we do, all of our solar panels are actually black matte to make sure that there are no reflection that is given to the other side of the buildings. So this is also quite important. And I think this is one of the things, that are not really worked on by other companies. But yeah, they just basically resell normal solar panels from rooftops. It's very sad to see that this is how business is made, because it's completely unsafe business to put something like this on a balcony. And I really hope that if there are companies that are arising in this sector, they'll be really taking all of the safety measures to make sure that this consumer electronic product is safe enough for everyone to use. Yeah, and this is what we focus on. We create the product from scratch to make sure that it's safe for the consumers to actually connect. All of our wiring, everything is made simply for a non-tech savvy consumer. Yeah, so this is a huge difference. And then, of course, our devices are all 4G enabled, which means that they have a companion app, and you can also see how much you're generating, how much CO2 you're saving, and a bunch of other really cool metrics that people will like to actually see on a daily basis, right? Because you want to know how much you're saving. And this is something which is not available with just a normal solar panel that you would put on your balcony.
That's cool. The fact, they're kind of IoT smart devices, so you can keep track of that. I think that's really cool. So you can from day one you can see you can see what the impact is that's having on your carbon footprint, but also your cost savings. I think that's cool. I think one other thing to mention there probably is that your products are flexible, which makes them more usable. Because if you like you said, I think you said you've got a round balcony, you wouldn't be able to put square, rigid solar panels on that anyway. So with yours, you can kind of curve it to the curvature of your balcony or the shape of your balcony, which again is another super cool feature. So look, just one final question for you then. We're kind of coming towards the end of the end of the episode now, but Look, lot of great coverage in the news, a lot of great press. So there's a lot of, you've got a really good traction, very nice customer base as it is. But what does the future look like? What do the next, say, 3 to 5 years look like for We Do Solar?
I mean, we want to make sure that we're present in all of the European countries. Right now, we're in 24 countries of Europe, and obviously, expanding. We need to hire more people, so hopefully our team will grow drastically in the next 3 to 5 years to make sure that we can also take in the amount of requests that we have been having, because the demand is ultra high. And I want to become one of the biggest, let's say, distributed solar power plants out there. It's totally possible, and definitely with the legislation moving towards community solar and us being able to really share certain generated green power, it would be amazing to be able to actually move power within these kits across our network.
Cool. Well, look, exciting times. I'm a big fan. I think the products look fantastic. I love the simplicity. As I said, I love that kind of crosshair of doing good for the planet, saving money as well. I think that makes make things an absolute no-brainer. So we'll include links to the website. We'll include links so that people can find you and check you out on LinkedIn and on the web. And once again, really appreciate your time. It's been great to chat to you today.
Thank you so much.
Thanks then. See you later. Bye-bye.